Okay, so I think we'll get started. We seem to have quite a few people on the line as well as online. I'd like to welcome you all to this Are You Sleeping webinar. Christine Maria Gross is going to be our presenter this evening. Before I introduce her, though, I'm just going to go over a couple of the technical aspects of the webinar. So on your screen, you'll notice that there is on the left-hand side of your screen, a chat box. So it says chat, and there's actually a little scroll drop-down menu that lets you select who you want to chat to, or you can just select all participants or moderators. So if everyone would like to go ahead and click on that drop-down box and select moderators, then anything that you chat into that box will go directly to Christine and myself. And we're actually going to be using this throughout the webinar a couple times. So Christine's going to survey everyone on the webinar, and she may ask you some questions and say, type in your answers to the chat box. So you can just click on where it says type your chat message here and type away. So if everyone wants to just type in test and hit enter, and then we should all start seeing that. Actually, Christine and I, will just start seeing that. So I'm seeing some of these test questions come in, so that's great. We're going to be using this for a couple things. So as I mentioned, as Christine's asking you questions, some of the responses will come in this way. Also, if you have a question, because what we're going to be doing is muting all of the lines throughout the webinar just so we don't get any background noise from anyone, and then unmuting them when it's time to ask questions. If you do have a question, so that we can keep this flowing nicely, if you just type question into your chat box and hit enter, then either Christine or myself will say, oh, I see that Sharon has a question, and then we'll refer to you. So that's how we'll proceed with facilitating the webinar. If anyone does have any questions to begin with, if you type in question there, or if you have any technical questions, we can get those out of the way right now. Otherwise, we will start into the webinar now. So it looks like everyone's good. So I'm really excited to have Christine Maria Gross with us today. She was actually one of the presenters at one of the workshops at the Young Women's Conference that CBCN hosted in October. And we had wonderful feedback from the workshop. So I'm really excited to actually being able to listen and take this in and enjoy. My name is Jen McNeil. I work with the Canadian Breast Cancer Network. Just to give you a little bit of a background on Christine Maria, she's been leading groups for over 17 years in natural health care and stress reduction. And as an Ayurvedic health practitioner, Christine inspires others to optimum health and quality of life. She's completed the body-mind training at Harvard Medical School and has studied a variety of meditative, contemplative techniques for many traditions. She's been cancer-free for 21 years, and her goal is to support others in learning the pillars of health. She is a recently published author and offers workshops and trainings internationally. So we're really excited to have her here today. Her expertise, I'm sure, is something that you will all find very valuable, and this is an important topic, I know, for everyone who's here. It's something that I'm sure we could all learn more about. So, Christine Maria, on that note, I will turn the presentation over to you.
Thank you very much, Jen. It's a pleasure to be a partner with the CBCN and share with you
Participant lines muted.
Tonight's topic, an Ayurvedic approach to getting a better night's sleep. So welcome, ladies. I'm delighted you're participating. This will be an interactive presentation, as Jen explained. But also, please be sure to have a paper and pen close by if there are some questions that you may have, or some things that are on there that you wanted to jot down or have me go over a little bit more. This evening, for the ones that are on the East Coast, and I heard that we do have one or two people from the West Coast, so it's not quite evening for you. This evening, you will discover natural biorhythms of your body and its connection to sleep, the best time to go to bed, and how to get there, and what you might be doing or eating that is affecting your sleep, as well as we're going to delve into and talk about some natural suggestions for sleep. But before we do that, I like to begin my sessions with a little bit of relaxation and a way to get ourselves into a receptive state of awareness. And that is facilitated by creating the right space and environment where all of us together, we can be focused and really let this information in, allow you to clear your mind so you can focus and get what you need to receive today and to get some results for a better night's sleep. So if you could pay attention right now and turn off your cell phones, your home phone if you are at home, your email and instant messaging, and anything else that might be distracting you. If you could take care of those right now, that will be very supportive to your experience in the next hour. So together right now, we're going to do a short relaxation exercise. And I'd just like you to get very comfortable in your chair and just close your eyes. You can place your hands on your lap or beside you in a comfortable position, whatever's comfortable for you. And just focus now with your eyes closed on calming your breath, taking in a breath and then breathing out. And just becoming aware of your breath and your breathing at this moment as we take a moment to pause. Bringing your awareness to the flow of your breath. And just be aware of each inhalation and each exhalation. Do this now. And notice right now as you breathe in, the air is cool. Have you noticed this? And notice now as you breathe out and exhale, the temperature changes and becomes a little bit warmer. Can you find the place or space in your body where you have this temperature change? See if you can feel that right now, where that change in temperature is happening in your body. Is it in your throat, in your chest? Where do you feel that? Now, whether you are listening live or listening to this as a replay, bring yourself to this space of stillness and peace. And just open to feel our group's presence now. And together, how each of us will contribute our energy to this presentation. Take one more breath in and out, and smile, and slowly open your eyes. Thank you very much. And now that we're a little bit more balanced and centered, we can begin to delve into this most wonderful topic that is in a lot of experiences of a lot of people on sleep. So one of the 4 pillars of good health is sleep. And actually, it's the most potent thing that you can do for yourself. And why is it so important? Well, as you know, sleep is responsible for our good health, for things like memory, organizing, for emotional balance. And it is actually the only time of the 24-hour clock that we actually de-stress and process and release our stress of the day. It's the body's natural way of stress management. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. And it's also the time that we reconnect with the source of all of life. And Ayurveda, the principles we'll be speaking about this evening are based on Ayurveda, and that might be a word you've heard of, or maybe you haven't, but it is an ancient natural healing system, and it's regarded as the mother, the original mother of all natural medicines. So all natural medicines that we know of today, including Chinese, Tibetan, all the different natural medicines, the naturopathic medicines, all originated from Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is very interesting because it recognizes that the physical well-being of our cells is connected to the biological cycles of nature and to the deeper laws of nature and to the universe itself. So given this, Ayurveda will incorporate many different type of modalities such as diet, herbs, aromas, gems, yoga, meditation, body treatments, and others to restore balance and correct difficult to solve physical problems or challenges. So tonight's topic is sleep. So what I'd like you to do right now is to begin our first participation as a group. And in your chat box, I would like you to write down the time that you go to bed. So if you could take a few moments right now and write the time that you go to bed, then I will get that information, and then we're going to go from there. So if each of you could begin writing that in. And I'm getting quite a variety here, and I'm just going to share with you. Just get one more down here, because this will be important as we carry on. So this is an interactive, but it's also tailored to you and your answers this evening. So this is a special evening for each of you. So I have quite a variety here. I have 11 o'clock, I have 12, I have 11:30, I have 2200, so I believe that is a 10 p.m., and I also have 11:30. So And someone just came back and said, yeah, that's right, 12 a.m., that's right. I just wondered if someone might have been on a shift work. So that's great. So we have quite a variety of what time we've been going to bed. And as you'll see through this presentation tonight, the photographs are of my wonderful cat, Benji. And as you can see, things seem to be a little bit too bright for him to fall asleep, so he had put his paw over his head there. So now I'd like you to go in the chat box and tell me, so if you go to bed at 11 o'clock, what I want to know now is what time do you fall asleep? If it is 11 at 11, that's good. But I want to know what time you actually fall asleep. So take a couple of minutes right now and put that in the chat box. Some of you are falling right asleep within the 10, 15 minutes there. Some of you are half an hour later. Okay, so I have one lady. We'll only be going by first names, so we'll keep it confidential in that way. One lady is going to bed at 11. But then reading or watching TV for about half an hour and then fall asleep about 45 minutes later. So then that would make her okay. Thank you very much. All right. Well, that's the thing. You know, we go to bed at a certain time, but we're actually having the problems of not falling asleep right away. So for some of you, we will talk a little bit more about this, and some of you are falling asleep. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the importance of the best time to fall asleep. And right now, if you'd just like to take a few minutes of thinking about, just for yourself, if you don't get your sleep or you don't feel like you get good sleep, the different things that you actually experience in your body, your emotions, your mind, your brain, connecting to your spirit, and how that has an effect on the quality of your life. So those of you that had shared with me about what time you are falling asleep, let's go into what actually, if at all, you wake up during the night. And if so, if you could just kind of write that in there, if you're waking up, what time it is. And just keep it to the times. If it's more than once, if you know the time you're waking up, like say you're waking up exactly every night at 2 a.m., then write that down. So put that in your chat box right now. Thank you. So this is waking up, but it's not what time you're getting up in the morning. Okay, so we have a lot of variety. We have waking up 3 a.m., Some people have it varied. Some people are waking up every couple of hours. So it's, and some people have changing all the time. So that's interesting. Okay. So let's take a look at our next thing here. How are you feeling when you're waking up in the morning? Do you feel like you've had a good rest? Just write in the chat box what you experience and you feel ready to go or not. Or still tired or wanting to stay in bed. Just use a couple of words there. Okay, we're getting quite a good variety in here. And I'll be with you in a minute here. I'm just kind of writing them down so I can get that here. And one more here. Just checking. Okay. So very good. This is a good broad thing. Some people, when they wake up, they feel sleepy. Some people feel rested. Some people never feel that they feel rested. And some people still feel tired even after 8 hours sleep. Okay. So why is this happening even after, for example, those 8 hours of sleeping? These are really, really interesting concepts to begin to understand, and a lot of it will become a little bit clearer as we move forward. So just to explain a little bit, getting into Ayurveda, is that we look at ourselves as being connected to what are called these doshas. It's not really a Western word, but we describe and categorize vibrations that we are a part of, which would be space, air, fire, water, and earth. And these three, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, are doshas that govern everything, not just us, but everything in our environment, in nature, and as well in the universe. And when they are in balance, they give us good health. But when they are out of balance, they can cause us a lot of problems. So what I'm presenting today is for all doshas. We are never just one dosha. Like say a person says, well, I'm a Vata person. We have all the doshas because we have all of these elements within us. It's just bringing into balance would be on your individual constitution, and something like that is done through assessment. What is really important, why I took the time to take a look at what time you're going to bed, what time you're getting up, and what time, how you feel in the morning, is that our body rhythms are connected to what you see up there on the slide, the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And the time clock beside it is giving us an idea of how this connection affects us. And when we're not in balance with these time areas, these type of things can cause more problems. So when we look at for example, look at the green, and it says the kapha. Kapha on the time clock is from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., if you kind of take that as a pie. And then the vata, then the other time flips over. Now, in this one particular is done incorrectly on the picture. I don't know how that one came up there. But kapha time is from 6 to 10. The pitta time, if you look on the clock there, would be from 10 to 2. And the vata time is from 2 to 6. And then we have, now this is important now for the evening, because we're talking about evening time is from 6 to 10 for kapha, 10 to 2 for pitta, and vata is 2 to 6 p.m. And someone, you might be saying, okay, that is getting me very confused. What are all these dates and times, and what do they all mean? Well, I want you to think back right now of the time that you said that you go to bed. And the time I'm going to give you right now that is the optimum time to go to bed, and there is one participant that is actually going to bed at that time. And the ideal time for the best sleep is 10 p.m. And so if some of you aren't, which there is one lady that is at 10 p.m., the reason for that is in the specific time. Remember earlier we were talking about the benefits of good sleep and how only at sleep we get de-stressed. We have the opportunity for allowing the body to let go of stress from the day, the mind to let go of stress. There is only one particular period of time that this happens. And it only happens on the 24-hour clock at the following time. It happens from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. So the further you are out in the sleep time clocks, for example, we have a couple people going to bed 11:30 that are going to bed and then falling asleep maybe 12:30. That means that you've missed out on 2 to 2.5 hours of quality sleep time that has the best benefits for your health and well-being. So after a period of time that you're not sleeping between the 10 and the 2, this has a degenerative effect upon your body, upon your mind, and upon every aspect of your health and well-being. So what I'd like to say is that if you are going to bed at 12 o'clock, say, right now, that doesn't mean that tonight you're going to try and go to bed at 10 o'clock. Just like habits of smoking or any other habits that you're trying to break and create anew, I'll give an example for one of the ladies that is going to bed at 12 o'clock right now. What you want to do for the next week is to give yourself a goal of trying to be in bed with your head on the pillow by 11:30. And then in the second week, if you've been successful with that, if not, then stay with that 11:30. Then the week after, try for 11 o'clock. And if that's successful, then the week after that, 10:30. So as you can see, this is like a month to month and a half program of slowly each week only going back half hour. So all of you at different times, you can figure that out in your mind. What is that going to work for you? Okay? So again, only in half-hour increments. We want to be gentle. We want to be smooth and gentle with ourselves as we move in this time clock. So that's a very, very important thing. We're going to get into talking about some of the ways that we can prepare, and I'll give you some suggestions on that. But before we do, I wanted to share with you another aspect that might be a little bit more clear for you. The World Health Organization was doing some research, and they put together that, for example, shift work. If you know anybody that's in shift work, how awful this is for their physical body. That they're never sleeping between 10 and 2. And so the World Health Organization actually did a study that said shift work disrupts the circadian rhythm of the body. And they classify this disruption of not being able to sleep at that time as a probable carcinogen. They said at these crucial times, if the body is awake or exposed to light, it does not produce melatonin. Now, as you know, melatonin is a hormone that only the brain can produce. And melatonin can only be produced when it is dark. So, in many studies, it has been shown that melatonin is a powerful cancer fighter. And you can read more about this in an article that was in the January issue of the Oprah magazine. And this was, I picked this out because this is amazing research that I wanted to share with you from Dr. David Blask, who's the head of oncology at the Tulane University School of Medicine. And through experiments, he found that breast cancer cells actually stop growing when bathed in about the same amount of melatonin that the brain manufactures at night. He said, quote, "The hormone basically puts tumors to sleep." Now, that is pretty profound information. You might not have come across yet in your studies or in your health care, but this is very important. So let's get into right now some natural methods for preparing for bed. We are made up of physical and non-physical energy. So the natural methods that I'm going to give you are based on those principles. So, for example, if you look on the screen there, routine is very important. It's important to go to bed and wake up at the same time. You probably remember back in school, that's what you did when you were younger. And even to carry this on into the weekend, not to stay up really, really late on the weekend and then say, okay, I can sleep in on Sunday morning till 11 or 12. You still won't get the deepest sleep. That deepest sleep is only between the 10 and the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Another natural method is actually taking a warm bath. Another natural method would be aromatherapy. I'm also a certified aromatherapist, and I use this Separately, and I'll give you a few more examples later, as well as in the bath. And you can even find out a little bit more in a few minutes. Meditation is a wonderful natural method to use for preparing for bed. It's not really recommended to do it at the moment, but I do have a couple of suggestions. If you're not into a meditative practice, never tried meditation before, I do have a suggestion of a CD that I'll give you at the resources near the end of the presentation. You can do it on your own using a CD, but we've found in a lot of research that the best kind of meditation is a meditation where you're transcending, so a meditation that actually is of a transcendental nature. So there are a few techniques out there that utilize that. Oh goodness, look at that next one. Hot milk. You might remember way back when you were younger how you had trouble sleeping, and giving you some hot milk, it does have a very relaxing effect. Herbal tea as well. Again, you want to check that the herbal tea does not have any caffeine, so you wouldn't want to take green tea, for example, before you go to bed. And you also want to look in your teas that they are organic. Some companies that have wonderful organic ones are the yogi teas, traditional medicinals, good earth, and some of the mixtures that are out there, you want to double check on the ingredients. And chamomile, although it seems to be in a lot of teas, actually, for anyone that has any breathing problems, can aggravate it, because chamomile comes from the ragweed family. Reflexology or foot massage is wonderful for relaxing. And there's one you might have not heard on, and I've used this a lot with children and made a lot of suggestions, is actually as you're laying in bed, have some butter, not margarine, but real old-fashioned butter, put some on your feet, put some socks on, and go to bed, and it seems to be very soothing. So there's one you might have not heard of. We can also add in there music, and I do have a suggestion for music, and that would be from Solitudes, the natural sleep inducement. I've used that with a lot of clients as well as with myself. And I could also add on there restorative yoga. You could also do that. And keeping in mind, again, herbal teas or hot milks or water that you drink, any drinks that you're going to drink, you want to complete between 7 and 7:30. We have some more, but these natural methods are focusing on your bedroom environment. So in the bedroom environment, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. And one of them is the placement of your bed. Vastu is the Ayurveda equivalent for Feng Shui, and they have a whole science on buildings, what direction of the rooms, all kinds of things. And again, these are the non-physical, energetic connections that are happening through that. So the best placement for your bed is if you have your headboard. If you think of your bedroom and your head and the headboard, that your head is facing the east, so east to west. Now, just think about what you might think that the worst placement of the bed for sleeping is. Have you thought about it? Well, it's actually north to south. And upon my own, small investigations with clients and asking them about their sleep, many of them who had sleeping problems actually had their bed north to south. And when they did do a change, they found a change in their sleeping. Another topic to look at is there a proper airflow in your room, and also the temperature. Too hot also is difficult for a good night's sleep. I always remember my grandmother. She would even have the windows open, and I remember I said, "Grandma, it's too cold in here." She says, "You'll have a good sleep," and she was right under the feathers. Duvet. Yes, I did. I had the best sleep when I was at my grandma's. And let's look at your windows. How much light is coming in your windows? Do you have proper blinds and curtains for your windows? Remember that article and studies that were done about sleeping. So maybe you are sleeping from 10 to 2. But while you're sleeping from 10 to 2, you have the bright light coming from the street shining into your room. So actually when you're sleeping, you're not actually sleeping in the dark. You're sleeping in the light. So that's not going to produce any melatonin for you. The other thing is that you want to have your room clean and uncluttered, not a bunch of stacks of books and things. When you go in your room, that's your sanctuary. That's your space for relaxing and feeling better, and that's very important. Sounds and noise from electromagnetic devices. There are many electromagnetic fields from cell phones, electric clocks, that produce noise that we can't consciously hear, but there's a buzz happening. And so if you have one right there by your head, that might be affecting your quality of sleep. Another one I can add on there, and it is on there, is TV. Having a TV in the bedroom actually is not that beneficial for going to bed because if you're watching TV, they usually say after 9 p.m., the light going into your eyes are detrimental to your sleep. So think about that one. Or do you have a computer in your room? That's another thing, that the light from the computer actually stimulates in your eyes that make it more difficult for you to sleep. So those might be something that you have that you never thought about. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next couple of slides. Now, there's Benji again. He says, I take my cat naps and meditate. He certainly does. And if any of you are having sleeping issues, you feel not rested, or you've been on treatments and feel very exhausted, it is recommended to take 20 to half an hour nap during the day if you're sleep deprived. We're looking now a couple more suggestions, a little bit more detail on aromatherapy, using it in baths and showers, for massage, steam inhalation, especially if you're having any breathing difficulties, room sprays, and hydrosols. Some top 3 aromatherapy essential oils to use would actually be lavender, rose, and Jatmansi. You always will mix essential oils with the carrier. The carrier would be an oil, any kind of oil that you may have. or something like the water. And I have a special bonus for you for all listening tonight, and I'll talk about that at the end. So what not to do before bedtime? Well, they say 8 o'clock you should be off your computer. Again, also before bedtime, not to be working, doing anything that's involving a lot of mind things that you need to do. Watching news or violent TV before you go to bed. Are you aware of how much your body is like a sponge and is so receptive to everything visual and everything you hear? So it's unfortunate that on our television we have so many violent shows, and that really has a detrimental effect for sleeping. How about reading the newspaper with all those difficult things that are going on? Drinking coffee, teas, or soft drinks with caffeine are not recommended before bedtime. And just so you know, coffee stays in your system for 24 hours. Another thing not to do before bedtime is actually to eat a meal, snack on sugary foods. And one of the things actually you need to know is that it's not just what you do before bedtime. Actually, everything you do and eat in the day affects your sleep. For example, how much coffee do you drink in the day? Are you drinking coffee, usually around, getting another coffee around 3 o'clock to falsely stimulate your body to stay awake, to stay at work? So these are little indicators that you're not in balance with the natural rhythms of nature and you're pushing yourself. Some people also fall asleep with the TV on. And again, it's that light from the TV, or they're laying in bed and the TV's on all night. I don't know if you've seen that, but I've seen that many times. So again, melatonin is not being produced. If you do have to get up to go to the washroom or anything during the night, one of the things is not to turn the bright lights on. Again, that will disrupt your melatonin process and actually getting back to sleep. And I just want you to think about, you remember if you've ever done any camping and notice how tired you were as soon as the sun went down, and you would go to bed. And I thank Thomas Edison for inventing the light bulbs and all the wonderful things that the light bulb has provided for us. However, it has had a detrimental effect on our bodies because we're not going to bed in the rhythm of when we should be going to bed. And last August, data was published in the Cancer Causes and Control Journal stating that countries generating the most light at night have the highest incidence of breast cancer. So all these things are related, and I'm hoping that these suggestions are being helpful for you. This is Benji, and he says when you sleep, you have energy. So I'm hoping that these suggestions are going to help you have more energy and have a better sleep. You look and feel great. We are here to experience happiness and bliss in life, not to feel like we're too tired, we can't participate with what's going on. And when you're feeling, energetic and you've had enough sleep, you have a lot more love to give and for sure to receive. I have a few resources here of some websites, and again, you can also go on Dr. Oz, www.droztoroz.com, and there are suggestions on there for sleep. But again, we are focused on the Ayurveda, and the information that Ayurveda brings to this is great. And can you remember right now what the best time to go to sleep is? Great. I know you would. Now, in summary, can you also remember two things that you can do to create a more restful environment in your bedroom now? And also, I would add on there that you'll find your own things that are actually going to work perfect for you, and as you move towards using more natural methods for your sleep. Again, on the music, I had the natural sleep inducement from solitudes.com, and a great guided imagery meditation to use before you go to bed called Your Present Half Hour of Peace by Susie Mantel. And a great book, if you're interested in more information on Ayurveda, is Ayurveda, The Power to Heal by Dr. Paul Douglas. I'm going to open it up right now. We have still a few minutes for some questions. One person has asked me already, what issue of Oprah Magazine? Oprah Magazine, it was the January 2011 issue. So you can go on there, and you'll see it's on the sleep program that she had there. It's called Lights Out, page 95. Any other questions there?
Christina Maria, I'm just going to unmute the line because we do have one question from Surya. Give me just one moment.
Participant lines unmuted.
So, Surya, go ahead and you can ask your question to Christine.
Yes, the World Health Organization article. Which one is that?
I believe I'll have to just double check here. I don't have that right in front of me, but I'm sure if you go on the website and just take a look at punch it in, I'm sure you'll be able to find it.
Okay, the World Health Organization website?
Yes, WHO.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Sharon has just typed in a question that says,
yes.
how does this apply to children?
Okay, well, how does it apply to children? Exactly. It fits in for children. As you know, babies need to sleep more. Once they get into their teenage years, actually they need to do just like they were babies. The teenage years, because so many things are changing and growing and hormones, they actually need at least 12 hours of sleep. So it's really amazing. And so when they want to sleep in, let them sleep in. But the main thing is again, not to have your kids on the computer late at night. Try and let them know in a gentle way that that's the best for them. And do your best, and you can say, well, you know, a couple nights a week it can be in later, but try it out. But again, it does apply to children for sure. Anybody else? Any other questions?
One from Susan. That is, what was the name of the doctor in the Oprah magazine?
That was Dr. Blask, Blask.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
you all unmuted?
Yes, everyone's unmuted.
Okay, well, I hope all of you received something of interest for you tonight, and that you're able to understand a little bit more about the natural rhythms of sleep. And if I'm just going to scroll forward here one more slide. And I want to thank you, and Benji and I want to wishing you a good night's sleep. And if I have a special gift for each of you for listening, and this is also for people who are going to be listening after. If you send me your email, I'll send you a coupon, and you can get 25% off high-quality aromatherapy oils that are organic and wild-crafted out of California. And that's my gift to you, and I really thank you, and I thank you, Jen, for having me present this evening, and I really hope it helps each of you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for presenting this information to us. I know I definitely learned some new techniques and some information that I didn't know before. And those aromatherapy oils sound great, so I'm sure everyone will enjoy those. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to speak to us about this and to answer our questions and to put it in a way that's actually practical. I appreciated that there were practical tips that you had that we could directly apply to our lives. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this call, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, and many blessings.